are back, and this is the segment that we call Last Rants, where we either wrap up what we've been talking about or rant about something new. And I kind of touched on something. And Jose, give me your opinion. And be honest, and I want your opinions out there too. I am a comic book writer, okay? I write these things for a living. I do a column and all that. And I am essentially also a comic book critic. Mm-hmm. Now, I was made to think about this because recently in The Onion, they interviewed Roger Ebert. And Roger Ebert was asked, after doing Return to the Valley of the Dolls with Russ Meyer, did he ever write any more screenplays? And Roger Ebert said no, because that was considered a conflict of interest. That because he was a movie critic, he couldn't also be a screenwriter.
That movie was fucking awesome, though.
You know? I've never seen it. So
You've never seen that movie?
I've never seen Return to the Valley of the Dolls.
Oh, my God, dude.
But
what the fuck?
Okay. But tell me, by trying to be a writer and also having these videos where I'm kind of giving my opinion on, sometimes giving my opinion on the work of other writers, which, as I already said, not necessarily, that's kind of frowned on within the comic book community. Mm-hmm. If Bendis came to me and ripped my work on his channel, I'd be like, wow, he actually noticed me. That is so cool. Mm-hmm. But I know that there are writers out there who would say Elliott, and I'm kind of been told I have to watch what I say as far as my criticisms go. Because I
can buy that.
You gotta work. You never know who you're gonna work with at some point.
No, I know. I completely agree with that. That's why I'm here.
So, here's the thing. I don't want to be disingenuous either. I mean,
Sure you do.
The only reason...
If you want to work in the industry, you need to be disingenuous.
Okay, well...
Are you kidding me? It's good practice.
Well, when I really think about it, the only two writers I've ever had any sort of... Well, I've had criticism for three writers. Jeff Loeb, Brian Bendis, and Mark Miller. And in all three cases... I've been fans of those writers' works. I've loved what they've done. It's just recently some of the stuff that they've been doing has just been infuriating me to no end.
No, I think that, and I think we pointed this out before. It's like you never had me to point out the fact that these guys suck.
Yeah.
And all the tricks and all the shortcuts that they take when they write. And I really do think that you thought they were good writers and you liked them, but now you know better. And I think some people just kind of need that, like, slap in the face. To wake them up.
Okay, well...
Because if any of you have friends who read Red Hulk and really like that, or really like him, I think if you sat them down and had an intervention, and you explain to them intelligently what is wrong with this comic that you're reading, and why are you helping make it the number one comic in the industry? It's only a detriment to all of us if it's the number one comic. And if you sit them down and you explain to them, I think that you might be able to get through. And I think people just need that. I really do. Because a lot of times, all the other websites and all the other podcasts, they all like to kiss everybody, all the creators' asses. They love to kiss Brian Michael Bendis' ass. They love to kiss Jeff Loeb's ass. They love to kiss Mark Miller's ass. And that's just how it is. And that, to me, is very disingenuous to the viewers. Okay? Because people know better than that. And it's just, they're just shilling and shucking for these people who, I know some of the other vodcasts out there that interview stuff actually have creators on their show, or they go to conventions and they interview those creators. Now, if they were saying stuff that I was saying about Brian Michael Bendis' comic, would Brian Michael Bendis want to interview them? Or would he want them to interview him? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if it's you who are very impartial to, how you read things, you can get away with it a lot easier. Now, would I want to ever interview Brian Michael Bendis? No. Because I would have nothing to, everything that I think about Brian Michael Bendis has been on these podcasts, and people know how I feel. My friends and the customers. I had nothing to say to the guy. I wish he would just leave the industry. And I for a while, take a hiatus. Get back to... Find your muse. Do something to get back to where you were. I think he needs to step away from the industry for like 5 years. Seriously, and take a good, hard look at what he's been doing and what he wants to do in the future. If he can get back to writing stuff like Jinx and Goldfish and Torso, like all that early stuff that I really, really like, if he can get back and somehow to do that, then that would be great. Mm-hmm. And if he needs to take time away from the industry to do that, then do it. Because he is just becoming progressively a worse and worse writer. And it's not helping that Marvel is putting him up on this pedestal and let him pretty much run the universe. They're giving him too much control. They should constrain him a little bit. They need to be like, you can't do this, you can't do this. You need to go in this direction, see what you can do with that. Don't just be like, do whatever you want and we'll see what happens, good or not. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why you get all these loose plot threads in Brian Michael Bendis' books, because it's all just throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks. If things fall along on the wayside, he doesn't get back to it. He doesn't care, because that's not what he is either working, or it's not stuff. It's stuff that he just loses interest in. Mm-hmm. 6 months down the road, he's like, yeah, I don't want to write about that anymore. I didn't like where I was going with that. I'm just going to let somebody else do it. And if no one else does it, who gives a shit? What, the fans are going to call me out on it? No, they're not going to. So.
All right, so you answered my question. I keep my mouth shut and I let him do all the talking.
That's what you should. I mean, I don't blame you for doing that. But I've worked in the industry now for 16 years as a retailer, and people like to come in and whether they agree with my opinion or not, they want to hear my opinion.
Right.
For some reason they value my opinion because I work here. But I'm just like any other comic book collector. Everyone's got opinions, and everyone's is different from the next person. Mm-hmm. And comics are art. And art is subjective. Mm-hmm. Just because I say I hate something or I really like something, I do not expect anybody to feel the same way. They should, but I don't expect them to.
All right. Okay. Well, we've always said that here on the Comic Culture Warrior YouTube channel. We all have opinions, and opinions are like assholes. And just so you know, you've got two of the biggest opinions on the internet here. Yeah. So, thanks, folks, for joining us. And as always, we look forward to your comments, your suggestions. I've gotten one review of Xena Army of Darkness so far, and they've said they think it's funny. So, I'd like to hear more about it. But anyway. And if Brian Bendis and Jeff Loeb want to look at me and raise their noses and scoff and say the guy sucks, that would be so cool. Because then I was noticed. But I've got a long way to go before I get there. Thank you, folks, for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.